what I hear is it's self-compassion, because when you identify these parts, you stop fighting them, you stop letting them run you, and then there's a level of compassion that must come over you for your own self.
Yeah, well, self is compassion. Self-energy is connected. Self-energy is curious. Self-energy is creative. So the way that I've designed these steps is really cool because I've used the qualities of self as the steps, right? So
Right.
choosing to check in, step one. But curiosity is a quality of self. So you've got this self-like quality that you're applying. So maybe you're not in self, but you're using self's quality to check it, to get curious.
To check in.
And then you're using self's quality to compassionately connect and say, what do you need? And then you're checking to see, oh, wait, now is there a little energy that's like self coming forward?
Right. Yeah.
Self is an energy. Self is an energy
vibration.
It's a vibration. It's alignment. It's like an inner parent.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I'm, and this is a side conversation, you and I can have it another time, but the book I'm writing right now is about the brain changes that happen to women after 40. And one of the—
Where were you 6 months ago?
I know, right? I'm taking an anthropologist, a neuroscientist, and a feminist philosopher, and I'm merging all of their teachings to create a through line that I feel that menopause is actually a process of returning back home to yourself.
Totally.
And I don't think we talk about that enough. And you have just given me new context because there's a couple of statistics that just have really driven me. And one of them is the most common time for a woman to commit suicide is between 45 and 55. And I believe that that's because she's returning home to herself, but maybe in returning home to herself, she has all these parts that have adapted and have taken her away from her, as you put, her authentic self energy. So what I'm learning from this podcast is really this idea that your book should be mandatory reading for every woman over 40. And it is a wonderful way to understand yourself as you're on this journey to the next part of your life in your postmenopausal years. That's how I would see this. Do you have a way in which you wrote this book that you see the world using it?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that question. And I agree with you too that women, and it breaks my heart that statistic as well, because also it's just so reflective of the lack of information and the lack of people like doctors like you. And God, you are doing God's work, my love. It's just there's it's, we need you and the Mary Claire Havers and all the doctors, Dr. Taz and Dr. Hall and all of you that are out there just doing this work, really helping women understand this and saving our lives, really, truly. Because I would have been one of those that would have taken my life if I hadn't had the education. Yeah. Because that's where it would have taken me. Yeah. Because it's where it took me during postpartum too.
Right.
So
yeah.
I know for a fact could have been a path for me. And so I'm glad we're talking about that. How do I want people to use this? I wrote this book and I really bluntly called it self-help. And I put these big flamingo colored letters on the page, and it's in your face. And it's a book for the willing. It's a book for people who know that they want to heal, that they want direction and guidance, and they want relief. And so for anyone that's listening still to the end, then this is definitely your book because you're obviously curious.
Well said.
And for those folks those women that are going through menopause, this is your book. If you're really if you're identifying with the story of what we're saying, of like, you have no more shits to give and you just want to unburden the patterns, this is it. This is your book. Yeah. But I believe that this book is for anyone willing to truly heal. Because there's a lot of self-help books out there, lots of tools, lots of practices, but this is based on a therapeutic model that works, that's science-backed, that has proof that it works. I am living proof that it works. We're minutes away from my next call, which is with my IFS therapist, okay?
Right.
So so I can swear by this. I can say to you, if you apply these 4 steps, I can say with full-bodied conviction that your life will change and the lives of the people around you.
Yeah.
And so it's how do I want people to use it? I want them to use it for a minute a day, at least a baseline of 1 check-in a day.
Oh, I love that.
And if you can do more, great. But if you just do 1 a day, you're getting a little molecule of self. And as you start to add the molecules of self up, you start to trust that self more.
Yep.
And as you trust self more, you become more inclined to check in and less inclined to check out. And then self begins to expand inside of you and become more of a natural state. And then you feel more resourced and you feel more safe and your life begins to change.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.